Hopkins, and welcome to another edition of the Hangout Hour. I'm Mike Terosian, your host tonight. Tonight being November 10th, 2021. I want to start off tonight by wishing a very happy birthday, a 246th birthday to the United States Marine Corps. And it was also, I was told by Bob in the booth that it's the 46th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Old, for all you good at Lightfoot fans. But tonight, it's all things scouting. We're going to start the night off with a nice little interview with Kim Brennan, who's our troop leader from Troop 11 of the Scouts BSA. Kim, how are we doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing tonight,
Doing
Mike?
fantastic. Thank you for being able to join us.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
It seems like just yesterday, but it's been a good almost 10 months now, maybe 11, and with the COVID restrictions lightening up, I'm sure your scout troop is more and more active every day.
I would agree with that. We have been a busy group of scouts for sure.
That's great. So, since we left off last December, what have you been doing since then? What's been going on?
Well, should I show you? Because I know you like pictures.
I love the pictures. Your pictures that you do are great. I'd love to see them.
All right. So I'll show you some pictures of some of the things that Troop 11 has been up to over the past year or so. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
All right. So here are some of our more recent events. This was actually pretty exciting. At the end of 2020, we worked on our first Eagle Scout project in our troop. And Alora Hoyt, who is down here in the bottom left corner, earned her Eagle Scout award. And part of that project was to build a whole bunch of eastern bluebird bird boxes. And she put them up in various spots around town to encourage the eastern bluebird to come back to Hopkinton. So that was exciting. We put a lot of hours into that. In March, we worked and did some collections for Project Just Because, and we put together almost 50 bunny baskets. That was good. We did a lot of trash pickup. Believe it or not, our town was littered this past year, so we were out several times doing trash pickup.
Well, let me ask you before we go any further on the trash pickups. Did you happen to have a lot of masks and gloves? What was your most kind of trash that you found out with COVID being around?
That is such a good question. And we found a ton of masks. It was kind of sad. There were a lot of masks, a lot of cans. There were lots of rubber gloves. It was a lot of kind of PPE floating around.
There you go.
Yeah. But we did 135. We went behind the schools. There was a lot to be picked up. So it was nice to be out in the community. And then the next month, we went whitewater rafting out in Western Massachusetts. We were really still keeping a lot of our activities in the state of Massachusetts because the COVID restrictions had not fully lifted. But we did have a great time going whitewater rafting.
Now, I don't see a lot of green in the background. So what month was that?
This was April.
And I'm guessing by the wetsuits, it must have been kind of cold.
It was, yes. It was cold. However, they told us that this was the warmest opening day that they had ever had before. It was actually quite warm for the fact that it was an opening day.
That's awesome.
So that was a lot of fun. The girls loved whitewater rafting. They'll go all the time. Sorry about the dogs barking.
Oh, that's okay. We know it's live. We expect that.
Then this was part of our camp out that same weekend that we went whitewater rafting. We had a beautiful campsite. That was the sunrise in the morning. And then we went for a hike and went exploring. So that was a lot of fun. That was the following day. And then we started doing some preparation. We wanted to take a hike on the Appalachian Trail, a multi-day trip on the Appalachian Trail. So we started our preparations early with planning our route, making sure our gear was all squared away and that everybody had the right gear, not too much gear, but just enough gear for what we were going to need. And we tested our packs and made sure everything was where it needed to be. We did more trash pickup. And then we finally went on our 3-day Appalachian Trail hike. And we started in Connecticut and we worked our way north and ended in Massachusetts. And over the course of the 3 days, we completed 3 summits. We hiked over 15 and a half miles and had over 4,000 feet in elevation. And it was really incredible. A lot of these scouts had never tackled a trip like that before. And so we did a lot of physical preparation to get ready for it. These are just some pictures of, the first night we hiked in the dark and made dinner in the dark and set up tents in the dark. We're filtering water. And this was, I think, at the top of one of the mountains. I think this is doing some stream crossing. These are some tired kids at the top of a mountain.
Yeah, they look
Some
kind of
happy
beat.
kids. What's that?
They look kind of beat right there.
Yeah, that was our second summit. This was our 3rd day. We actually met up with another girl scout troop on our hike, and we stayed near them in one of the shelters. And they were so excited. They were a fantastic troop. They were from New York, and they came out. They hiked for 2 days. And we had a campfire with them at night, and it was a blast. All of the girls were so excited to find other scouts. So that was kind of cool. And this was at the end when they were beat, but it was an incredible trip and something that I think a lot of them were really, really proud of.
So the pictures.
That was a good trip.
So the pictures look fantastic. It looks like they had a blast, but it's not all fun and games. Right? I mean, there's work to be done and there's challenges. What kind of challenges did your scouts have to overcome?
Oh, that is a great question. On the Appalachian Trail hike in particular, they had to overcome physical illness. One of our girls was sick. They had to overcome just the idea of not wanting to give up on the trail. It was actually really hot during these days. And, there's the whole mental challenge of hiking, which is like, can I do it? Can I finish it? And fortunately, we did not have any injuries or anything like that. But it's a dedication. And, when you get above tree line and you have those views, it's really rewarding.
So what was your ratio of, and I'm going to use the word campers, because we'll call it camping, from your first time campers to your experienced second, third time campers? What kind of ratio did you have there?
That's a great question. So, so all of these scouts have been camping before, for sure. Not all of them had gone on an extensive hike like this. So scouts that had done an extensive hike like this included, I think, 3. And the balance, which was, I don't know, maybe another 5, were really new hikers in this sense. And they really just helped each other and encouraged each other and taught each other helpful tips. And we had some great adults with us. We actually brought a couple of scouts from Troop 4 who had some hiking experience. And so that was nice to have them along. A couple of them were brothers. So that was fun.
So this type of trip here is not set up for your first time campers. They would probably not handle this, whereas you had 2 or 3 year and experienced campers. This is the type of trip for them?
Yeah, not right out of the gate. I mean, you want to make sure that they have the right gear, that they know how to use the right gear, that they've kind of demonstrated that they can really work as part of a team. So it wouldn't be my preference to have somebody jump in for the very first time and do this type of trip. I don't think that would be safe for the trip for everybody.
Right.
So you really want to kind of work up to something like this.
Excellent.
And I feel like they really did that. There was a lot of preparation that went into this.
Well, that's outstanding. So what else did you guys do?
What else do we do? So then we were back home and we were replacing flags in all of our cemeteries in Hopkinton. There we are with Mike Whalen, who often leads the charge. And we served as an honor guard for Memorial Day. And what else did we do? We got some of our scouts certified in wilderness first aid certification and CPR. And we did that because we took a pretty big trip in August. I'll get to that in a minute. But that was fun. That was a weekend. That was 2 full days of learning how to take care of yourself and how to administer first aid in the wilderness when you don't have ready access to EMTs and paramedics and things like that.
Sure, and that's a little different than the one that you usually get at home here with your firefighters teaching, correct?
Oh, yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
It is. In June on Flag Day, we partnered with the Woodville Rod and Gun Club and some of our veterans, and we hosted a community-wide flag retirement ceremony. And that was really special. We had a lot of veterans attend, and we asked a member of our community, a youth from our community who's not a member of our troop, but she sang the Star Spangled Banner, and it was absolutely beautiful. But this was really, really well received by those who attended. And then we celebrated.
Huge. This is This is huge coming up right here, and this is why I've been waiting for you to talk about all night.
Oh, really? So,
yeah. Come on.
So we were invited. Go ahead.
I said it's your first Eagle Scout for your troop. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So we were invited to celebrate one of our scouts who earned her Eagle Scout award. They have a dinner every year as part of our council. I'm so sorry. I want to go put the dogs outside.
Where's Tim? Do I have to text Tim to take care of that dog?
Actually, could you text him, because he's coming home and that's why they're barking like crazy.
I'll get right on that.
Exactly. So anyways, we celebrated Alora's achievement of earning the rank of Eagle Scout. And this was at a dinner with all of the other Eagle Scout recipients, both boys and girls. And these are the 4 girls from our Mayflower Council who earned the Eagle Scout Award. And they were part of the first inaugural class of Eagle Scouts ever. There were less than 1,000 female Eagle Scouts to earn it in this first inaugural class. And Alora was one of them. And I just received word that she also earned her Gold Award. So she has earned the highest rank in Boy Scouts and the highest rank in Girl Scouts.
That is
which is pretty exciting.
That is huge.
Yeah,
that is really huge. And now, is it true? Was Massachusetts the leader with girl Eagle Scouts?
I do not know the answer to that. I had not heard that.
I thought I heard a rumor, but I looked it up today and I could not find confirmation.
And now I want to find that out.
There you go.
I'm going to look into that.
You have homework.
I'm going to look into that. So after that, we spent some time at Project Just Because, volunteering, helping them to log some of their donations. And we moved a lot of their inventory to make space for new inventory that was coming around. Then we took a week and we went up to New Hampshire. We camp up at Hidden Valley Summer Camp in Gilmanton Ironworks, New Hampshire, and had a ball. There are so many different things that we do throughout the course of the week. Our girls did things like blacksmithing and horsemanship and obstacle courses. We went hiking. We went motorboating. We did so much. So that was a really fun week. They caught frogs. We played the guitar. We cooked. We hung out with Troop 4. Troop 4 from Hopkinton was there that same week. And so this slide is us playing the guitar with them at a campfire and serving dessert. We went over and brought desserts for them. So that was a lot of fun. And after we got back from summer camp, we took our first high adventure trip. And this was really exciting. we went out to Bozeman, Montana, and we took a horseback riding trek that was over 50 miles, and we engaged in over 50 hours of community service while we were out there. And so we hooked up with an outfitter who outfitted us with horses and mules, and we lugged our stuff in a mule train. These are our girls. This is our group. These are the horses. We hiked along the Continental Divide Trail for the most part. And let's see, here's our mule train. These are the girls unpacking the packs.
Wow.
We had to pack and repack the packs anytime we moved from one camp to another. These are some more views. We had lunch on this summit. It was almost 12,000 feet in elevation. And the views from this were absolutely spectacular. They overlooked the Centennial Mountain Range.
That's fantastic.
We cooked all of our own food over open fires. The girls slept in hammocks for the most part. This was one of our guide, Casey, and he was training a horse to become a pack horse. He was wild. He got loose a couple times, but we had a lot of fun with him. But the scenery out in Montana was really just spectacular. This is us making our way. We would ride anywhere from like 4 miles a day to over 20 miles a day. In the course of our trails, we found the headwaters of the Missouri River. One day, this picture up in the top left, we went swimming in this lake, and our horses were out grazing, and it was this like majestic, idyllic day. We were like swimming with our horses. It was really just spectacular. And this picture on the bottom left, this was my view when I would wake up in the morning. We just slept outside, and it was just really remarkable.
And after that, you came home.
Well, wait,
it must
not
have
yet.
really had to leave.
We didn't want to leave. Truly, we did not want to leave. We partnered up with a church in Bozeman, Montana, and we spent the day with them. We got up at 3 a.m, and we went to this church in Bozeman, and we volunteered for them all day at their vacation Bible school. And so our scouts helped out throughout the entire day, and just did this amazing job. And the kids were so great. They wanted our girls to come back the next day, but unfortunately we had a flight home. So that was a pretty amazing trip for everybody. And I don't know if you have any questions about that.
So this kind of planning takes, I'm sure, a long time. It's not anything done overnight. Is it Scouts International recommend all these places for you to find, or is it up to you to go find them? How's that work?
That's a great question. And when we're part of the scouting organization, you can, I'm going to put the picture back on this because that's prettier than the church. Scouts BSA does have high adventure destinations like Philmont or Bechtel Reserve, or there's a spot up in Maine, there's a spot up in Minnesota. So they have some places where you can go on high adventure trips. Our girls, though, for their first high adventure, didn't want to do one of those trips. They wanted to do something on horseback. So that really required a lot of research. So we spoke to a number of different outfitters to figure out which outfitter would provide the best experience and that we were most comfortable with, from a safety standpoint, because I feel like that always has to be number one, from a cost standpoint, from a logistics standpoint. And so we were really, really happy with the outfit that we ended up with. And it was really, we were there with two guys. It was the rancher and his ranch hand that were with us for the whole week.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, it was. And we were supposed to do this trip in 2020, the summer of 2020, but we postponed it because of COVID.
Right.
So we were very grateful.
I'm glad you got
be
to
able
do it.
go.
So what else we got going?
All right. So then the first Sunday of every month, there's a TAPS vigil on the Common most often. And this was a TAPS vigil that we attended. You see the old guard in here.
Who's that
Actually,
handsome
there
guy on
you are.
the? Who's that handsome
Do you
guy
see
on the
that guy?
left? Yeah.
You see the guy on the left?
Yeah. Thanks, Kim.
You're not often on the other side of the camera, but there you are. Then we were invited to participate in Boston on 9/11 at the 9/11 Day of Service. And so we served as an honor guard for 3 different shifts of an entire day of food packaging for the community. So throughout the course of the day, we and a lot of other community members packaged over 100,000 meals that were distributed the very next week to the greater Boston area. And we served as a color guard with like Boston EMS. We did one time on our own. And then there was another organization, I think it was the American Legion of Boston. So we developed some really nice partnerships throughout the day. That was good. And then we went back to our church. We're chartered out of a church in Westboro, actually. And so our scouts went and spoke to the congregation not too long ago and really just thanked the church for letting us use their space and gave them an update on some of the things that we had done. So that was really nice. Each of our girls shared something on that Sunday. So that was very nice. And then we did some community outreach as the summer was coming to an end, and we went to one of our farmers markets in town. Then we headed out on the bike trails. We went to Miles Standish State Forest, and we biked over 44 miles. That was a fun weekend trip that we took. Oh, and then we picked up more trash because there's always trash.
Always trash.
I think that when they get bored, they're like, "Let's pick up trash." So we do. That was a town-wide day, though. And then last month we went to Herkimer Diamond Mines and Howe Caverns, and the Scouts earned the Geology Merit Badge, and we got to go and look at really cool stalactites and stalagmites and learn all about the Earth's what makes up the Earth. So that was pretty fun. Okay, this was awesome. Just last weekend, one of our families in our troop celebrates Diwali, and they thought it would be fun to invite our troop to celebrate Diwali with them. And so we went, and it was the most amazing celebration. And when we got there, we discovered that there were scouts from Troop 1, scouts from Troop 4, and our troop was present. These are just some of the pictures. These aren't all the scouts that were there, but what an amazing and magical sharing of cultures and food and music and dance. And it was just outstanding. So we're still like it's still close enough that we're really appreciating that weekend that we spent celebrating Diwali with our community members. And the last one that I have here is we did some leaf cleanup and weeding at the church that we use. So that was fun.
Right, so
those are some of the things that we've been up to.
That's great. And now you get something just coming up this Saturday.
Yes, we do. How did you know? We have Scouting for Food.
I got my bag yesterday.
Excellent. So this is a tremendous effort that Hopkinton is very generous with. And we always collect a lot of food so that we can fill the shelves at Project Just Because. And so we would ask community members to fill a bag. Even if you didn't get a bag, you can fill your own bag and put it out by your mailbox on Saturday. It will be picked up after 10 a.m. So hopefully our community will do that. And then scouts will be on the common sorting the food and getting it ready for stocking over at Project Just Because. We have got a couple other things going on right now. Troop 4, when we were in Boston for the 9/11 Day of Service, we connected with a woman who had started a not-for-profit organization, and we're helping them collect coats for a coat drive. So if people have clean coats that they would like to donate to help keep somebody else warm this winter, we're collecting them, and you can drop them off in the lobby of the police station, the Hopkinton Police Department lobby. And we're collecting until November 14th, so for about another week. We also have a kind of a cool fundraiser going on right now. And hopefully we're thinking that we could help make Thanksgiving a little bit easier. And we will deliver fresh homemade pies to your door that have been handmade by the French chefs at Bee Food Bakery, which is located in Milford. And you just go to if you go to our Facebook page, you can find the website, the Square website,
Yep.
and you can order an apple, blueberry, pumpkin, or butter pecan and raspberry pie. And we will deliver it on the Tuesday or Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And then the weekend after Thanksgiving, we will be helping our senior center to fill buckets of sand for seniors. And that will be good. They'll be distributed the weekend after Thanksgiving. And then we've got a couple of nice opportunities for new scouts if they're interested in learning more about Troop 11, or they'd like to come and meet the troop and our leaders. We're going to be going indoor rock climbing on December 10th. And we're going to be partnering up with Troop 4 and offering some like outdoor food and fun and activities and a campfire on December 12th. So folks can check out either of those events.
So sort of like an open house, a little recruiting
yeah,
piece. That's
exactly.
Great.
Yep. And it wouldn't be scouting. A scout is kind, right? We talked about that last year, I think.
Yes, we did. Yep.
And World Kindness Day is coming up this coming Saturday. So we'll be encouraging those around us to do something kind for your neighbor, your family, your friends, a stranger, whomever. So that's it.
Maybe
that's what I have.
That's a whole bunch. You go ahead and unshare your screen so we can see again. But that is, holy cow. That is a lot of things for one troop to do. And that's only 1 year, right? That's one whole year.
Yeah, probably less than a year.
Less than a year.
Like
that's amazing. Mm-hmm. I can't say what do you got next because I can't imagine what you would have next. But I know there's a lot of questions, and the biggest question is, how do you sign up?
Oh, that's a great question. What you can do to sign up is you can email BSA. I don't have it on here, but BSA Troop 11 MA at gmail.com, and we will get back to you. You can come to any of these events. You could email me. If they get in touch with you, Mike, yep. You can connect us, and you just have to let us know that you're interested.
Well, that's
and then we'll walk you through the sign-up process.
That is great. What a wonderful, wonderful update. So let's have you back at the beginning of summer, because I'm sure I just can't imagine what you're going to do this winter. It's you got me floored.
We'll have fun.
That's great. Well, Kim, thank you again for joining me and joining us here in Hopkinton. We're going to go right now. We're able to get Karen Bograd in the studio this afternoon. She couldn't come on tonight, so we got her this afternoon. She's going to let us know what the Cub Scouts are doing and talk a little bit more about the food program. So thanks again, Kim. And Tom, go ahead and let's roll that interview. Hey, Karen, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Wow, I can't believe it's been a whole year again, and every time I see the Scouting for Food signs, I feel we need to have Karen back on the show. So, Karen, let's start where we left off. How did the food drive go last year?
The food drive went really great last year, Mike. We had a phenomenal turnout. We had great weather, and we collected 10 tons of food. So that was more than any other year previously. We just, because of the way we worked on the common and we had to transport the food to Project Just Because, we were able to get a really good count and see how many bins we were shipping over there and get a real good estimate. So 10 tons was an incredible amount of food. Everything that we sorted, we actually were really good about making sure that everything can be reused. Our pantry uses the guidelines that Hopkinton provides. The pantry over in Milford provides or uses the federal guidelines, so we're able to ship 1 ton of food over there that otherwise we might have to throw out. So everything is getting used. Then there were some remaining grains that were really expired that we have a bunch of pigs that we ship those out to. So as we go forward, we are not even going to bother getting a dumpster because everything is going to get used. So last year was phenomenal. The weather was great. We're hoping that, again, we get great weather this year because we will be sorting on the common again this year.
Well, that's fantastic. And I always talk about every year about not giving expired or close to expiring foods because they can't be used. But now because I'll never forget the pictures way back Michelle Murdoch took of the sorting process one year at Project Just Because, and you had 2 dumpsters, and I'm saying dumpsters full of food that had to go wasted. And now you've got this turnaround that you're able to reuse and, either ship somewhere else or repurpose the food gathered. So it's not a complete waste of time for you.
No, we try to repurpose everything we can. And that's, scouting is definitely about using your resources wisely.
Yeah, exactly. So, and of course, with last year being the tough year, COVID was still heavy at us. And now that things lighted up, let's talk about your scouts. How they manage now this year as far as doing projects and your just even meetings. How are your meetings going?
Honestly, we haven't lost a beat. The first couple months of COVID, I think everyone was kind of taken aback, and we tried Zoom, and we did some different types of meetings where we could host them online. But then once the summer of 2020 rolled around, we started meeting outside. That goes for Troop 1 in Hopkinton, but Troop 4 and Troop 11 were also meeting outside as well. And we've really discovered that there are so many places in Hopkinton that we can use. Fruit Street offers a lot of amenities for us. We've used the high school fields and parking lot. We've used the state park, whether it be the main grounds of the state park or out by the ranger station. So we're really lucky to have a town where we can move all around as far as, what types of activities we're going to need and just really use our environment.
Is there any activity that you used to do before COVID that, just hasn't come back yet and you hope to see soon? Is there anything like that going on?
Well, for a while, we weren't allowed to meet indoors at all. So that was a big challenge. But now indoor spaces are opening up. People just still have to wear masks. Our council has not rescinded the indoor mask requirement. So we just stick with that requirement. And we really have been able to get back to just about everything.
Well, that's outstanding. And with the COVID season, I'm sure there was a drop in registration for new scouts. But now, has that eased up? Has the registration started to grow again?
It feels like, and just from looking at the demographics of who came out to support the Scouting for Food initiative, it really feels like the crossover from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts was delayed. I feel like a lot of it was still there, but it was delayed. And we saw many more Scouts coming in the summer and in September rather than the normal crossover time, which would be March, April, or May. But the Cub Scouts, on the other hand, have seen a very large drop-off. They are down to about a third of what they were in prior years.
What do you think caused that?
Well, it's really hard to do a lot of the Cub Scout activities over Zoom. The kids, that age group, it's first grade or kindergarten, first grade through fifth grade. And, it's a struggle to do the online stuff. It was much harder. PAC meetings are big. So usually you get 50 to 100 people in a PAC meeting, including parents and siblings. And there wasn't indoor space. So it was much more difficult to coordinate activities for the Cub Scouts. So I think, and a lot of people were just unsure at the beginning of 2020, or, the school year of 2020, 2021, to figure out what to do with their younger kids. So I think that's why we've seen a bit of a drop off with Cub Scout. We are committed to continuing recruiting throughout the year. So, you know, and getting more press on our activities, just so we attract more people into Cub Scouts, because certainly, you know, Cub Scouts help speed the Boy Scout program as well. So, and we certainly want to see a lot of our service activities continue, because that certainly helps the town run.
Sure. And the Scouts, you know, after, you know, we get into a little bit of cold weather, the Christmas trees start coming out again, right?
Oh, they're on order. They are being delivered on actually next Saturday, not this Saturday, the Saturday after Scouting for Food. So that'll be the 20th.
Yeah, it's always the Saturday before Thanksgiving. I remember, as I try to get here, I know that you get help from the high school baseball team unloading the truck. And
Absolutely.
I try to get a picture of them every year. And I think it's been, for the past 14 years, I've got a picture every year of them doing
Excellent.
it on that
Well,
Saturday.
we will be
They're
there
great.
waiting for you.
Excellent. So now that the scouting stuff is picking back up and everything, how about the national, like, I'm going to say more regional events, forget local, are the, like, what's the word, jamborees, are those picking up again, and people, the
They are.
overnights and all that?
They are advertising them, and they're starting to book them. So there, you know, we still have a little bit of time. At this point, I think the next council event that comes up is a freeze out in January. So that's an outdoor camping trip.
Yeah.
So sponsored by our council.
I
Looking
never
forward to
saw the fun.
participating.
I never saw the fun in winter camping, but I'll take your word for it.
It's not as bad as you think.
Okay.
And technology helps you dress for the weather.
Excellent. That's great. So now, what level of scouts do we have? Is everyone covered in Hopkins? Is every level of scouting?
Yes.
So
we have the scouting programs, whether it be Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, both start in kindergarten, and we run right up through high school graduation or age 18, depending on the unit.
So help me with the levels again. Is it staff like a tiger? How's it start?
So actually, the Boy Scout, the BSA program through Cub Scouts starts 1 year earlier now. It used to start with tigers, and tigers are in first grade, but I believe it's lions that are now the kindergarten unit. So that just came into effect a few years ago. So like maybe 3 or 4 that we've had lions in town.
Gotcha. So you have the lions, you have the tigers, then where does it go from there?
Wolves, bears, webelos, and then once they do 2 years of webelos, then they transition into Boy Scouts.
There you go.
Or they could transition if they're girls, because BSA now accepts girls. So it's really Scouts BSA is what we're now called as units. So you could move into the girl troop, and Kim will talk to you about that.
Sure, absolutely. So we have, all right, so you have all those different levels. And other than your this fundraiser here, which is not a fundraiser for the Scouts, it is your big community service project, and it benefits Hopkins Food Pantry as well as
Yes.
other things. There's other fundraisers you got coming up, I believe.
So for our troop, we're doing the Christmas tree sales.
Yep.
So that's our main fundraiser. Generally, in the June timeframe, we do an international dinner, and we'll do poly arts as well. We're the food vendor. Troop 1 Hopkinton is the food vendor for the poly arts fair. So that's a bit of an undertaking for us. For the other troops, like Troop 4, as we sell the Christmas trees, we also will provide our customers with a card from Troop 4, which tells them about the recycling, the tree recycling that happens after Christmas. That's one of their fundraisers. I believe they also ran a fundraiser, an electronics recycling fundraiser back a month or 2 ago that went really well. Cub Scouts would have just finished selling wreaths right about now. So
Well, you
Those
guys-
are all pre-ordered.
You guys are plenty busy enough. That's outstanding. So the wreaths, the pre-order, they deliver to the houses, right? It's not a group pickup. The wreaths actually get delivered.
That's correct. The Cub Scouts will deliver them.
That's great. And the international dinner in June, is that a public event or is it? Can you describe that to me?
So we haven't had the opportunity to run it in 2 years. We're hoping to be able to do it again this year. It is open to the public, and Troop One will sell tickets for it. So you'll see some advertising, and you'll see our scouts out and about with tickets. We also like to invite our local heroes to come for free. So we'll be donating tickets. We'll donate some to the high school, the middle school, all of the schools, as well as the police and the fire department and the veterans.
Is there like one website or one place that people go to register, or if you have someone that's a Cub Scout age goes to one place, a Tiger age goes to how do people join the Scouts in Hopkinton?
So actually, there is a website for the Boy Scouts. So you can go to beascout.org, and if you put in our town zip code, it will list all the troops and Cub Scout packs within a bit of a radius of our town. So you'll see Cub Scout Pack 4, Cub Scout Pack 97, Troop 1 Hopkinton, Troop 4 Hopkinton, and Troop 11 as well. So for the Scouts BSA program, you can go to beascout.org. For Girl Scouts, they have their own website through the Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts Council. So Girl Scouts would go there, and they would register directly through the council website as well.
Excellent. Well, that's great to know. All right, we only have a few minutes left, so let's talk about the big thing, this year's Scouting for Food Drive. I know I just took my bag off my mailbox yesterday, and when does it have to be at the mailbox again?
So all donations for Scouting for Food need to be out at the mailboxes at about 10 a.m. The pickups will happen between 10 a.m. and 2 or 3 p.m. We'll definitely have, usually we send one scout out to do the initial run, and then we send somebody out closer to the 2 o'clock range just to double check the route, make sure everything was caught and that we brought everything in. What the scouts will do once they pick up the donations from the routes is bring everything down to the town common, and we will have our sorting stations all set up there. We have, certainly have approval from the Board of Health to continue our operation exactly as we had done last year. So we are going to be sorting there, and we will transport all the food over to Project Just Because in bins, and the volunteers that work over at Project Just Because will then bring the food into that building. So that's what our process is going to be.
Right.
And you will see us around town, so we ask for people to drive a little more slowly and carefully as we're out there picking up donations.
Slow it down, stay off your phones. What kind of foods? There's usually like a need every year. It seems like it changes. What are the big needs, or what are the big wants from the food pantries?
The big needs are going to be breakfast cereals, especially kids type breakfast cereals. Baking goods are always a need. Certainly this time of year, there's a little more need for Thanksgiving related foods as well as dry foods. And definitely based on the weather, we encourage people to make sure that they use the plastic bags. We are also looking for paper products, laundry detergents, and cleaning products are always needed. Toiletries, school snacks and granola bars are something they need as well. Even coffee, tea, and hot chocolate
Great.
get used very frequently. Juices and bottled juices, juice bags, all of those things are always in high demand.
Right. And again, we know you don't want to put anything expired if you can help it, but do you know what the expired cutoff date is for the Hopkins Pantry? Do you know
We can keep anything that is dated 2022. So January 2022 or greater.
Okay. So if you have anything that's going to expire this year, don't
If
put
it
it in that
expires in
bag.
2021, we will have to sort it out and ship it over to Milford.
Yeah, which is fine, and another place for it to be. But if it's definitely already expired, don't give the 2020 stuff. That's just more work, and it might not be able to go to the farm, or it might not be able to go to another pantry. So, yeah, try to keep things that aren't expired, and so and of course be careful out on the streets on Saturday between 10 and 3. The scouts will be out there picking up all those
And
bags.
I really
Yep.
appreciate everybody's generosity in Hopkinton. Hopkinton has been a phenomenal town as far as making donations.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have you again on after the first of the year. We can hear how well we did on this food drive and how well the Christmas tree sales went and everything. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Karen. Appreciate you coming by. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Kim. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule as we learned tonight how much the Scouts do here in Hopkinton for our community. So don't forget, fill those bags up and get them out there before 10 o'clock on Saturday. And do not put anything that's going to expire this year. Try to keep everything for next year so they can use it. And another thing, too, the Christmas trees are coming after Thanksgiving. So they'll be back behind the CVS selling their Christmas trees. So, again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me tonight. And we'll see you next week. Well, you'll see Jim Cousins next week as he sits down with Hopkins Health Director Sean McAuliffe. And he will introduce us to the new town nurse as well. So, everyone have a great night and take care. We'll see you next week.